Hi, I'm Bob Kilgore. In this video I'll show you how to set up and adjust your Harmonic Capo. If you got your capo from me through the weaseltrap.com website, it came in a package like this. This isn't one of those indestructible plastic packages that you need scissors and a blowtorch to open. It's actually reusable and opens very easily. So take out your capo and take a close look at it. The capo has 6 very soft rubber pads that fit inside a simple metal frame. The pads can be moved either up or down or from side to side. To pull a pad up, grip it on either side and pull straight up. To move a pad down, push straight down with your fingertip. The pads can be moved from side to side with your fingers, but the best way to do it is with a heavy toothpick. The pads are held in place by friction with the metal frame and should stay where they're put, provided that you don't bump them too hard. These soft rubber pads are what make the Harmonic Capo work. They simulate the light touch of your fingertip to produce harmonics on the open strings. And just like your fingertips, they have to have just the right touch to make good harmonics. So careful adjustment of these pads will be needed to get the best performance out of your Harmonic Capo. Moving on. The capo also has a very simple elastic strap. The strap has a short tab on one end to make it easier to grip. That end of the strap easily hooks or unhooks from one of the 2 plastic support pieces. The other end of the strap hinges at the base of its support piece. The hinge end of the strap snaps firmly into its hook, and unless you need to replace the strap, it never needs to be unhooked on that side. The strap is designed to hold the capo in place, but it doesn't have the high tension that a conventional capo requires. Conventional capos have to press the strings down firmly to the fretboard, but the Harmonic Capo will only lightly touch the strings, so a high tension strap is unnecessary. The strap is designed to hold the capo securely on necks as narrow as a Fender Telecaster at the 5th fret and necks as wide as a Taylor Cutaway Acoustic at the 12th fret. If your guitar needs a slightly longer or shorter strap, please contact us at support@weaseltrap.com and we should be able to help you. Next, we want to take a close look at these 2 support pieces. One of them slides along the metal frame. This adjusts the capo to fit the width of the guitar neck. The widest setting is about 2 1/4 inches or 57 millimeters. Again, if you need something a little wider, contact us with the details. Maybe we can help. The other plastic support doesn't slide. It is permanently attached to the metal frame. From here on, I'll call this the fixed support and this one the sliding support. Now there's one more very important feature of both of these supports that you need to know about. To see it clearly, flip the capo upside down and slide a white card between the 2 supports like this. You will see 4 very small tabs sticking out from the 2 supports. What you're looking at here are the only parts of the Harmonic Capo that should ever make physical contact with the fretboard of your guitar. Remember, this is upside down, so these 4 thin tabs will rest directly on top of the fretboard, and the inside portion of each support will touch the outer edges of the neck. Most importantly, when the capo is properly positioned over a harmonic point, it will sit directly on top of a metal fret wire, with the ends of the fret wire sitting inside these 2 gaps. In other words, the 12th fret goes here. Okay, you've seen all the parts of the Harmonic Capo. Here's how to adjust it. The first step in adjusting the pads can be done even before you attach the capo to your guitar. Start by pulling all 6 pads to their highest position. Next, lay your guitar on a flat surface and hold the capo over the strings on its side to see how closely the pads line up. It may help to slide a piece of paper under the strings to make it easier to see. Position the capo over the 12th fret harmonic point and start by adjusting the pad closest to the fixed support. Push it all the way against the support. Then use that pad as a reference and then move the other pads so they line up with the strings. About like that. This step doesn't have to be perfect. The pad spacing is far less critical than the pad height, but do try to get the pads roughly centered over the strings. To make the height adjustment, we have to put the capo on the guitar. Remember that we're going to position the capo directly over the 12th fret wire. To do that, start by anchoring the fixed support against the 12th fret wire on the high E side of the neck. Be sure to position the end of the fret wire inside the gap between the 2 tabs on the fixed support. When the fixed support is in place, position the sliding support on the opposite side of the neck. Make sure that the other end of the fret wire is also positioned in the gap between the sliding support's tabs. Next, squeeze the 2 supports gently against the outer edge of the fretboard and hook the elastic strap to the base of the sliding support. Check again that the capo is positioned directly over the harmonic point. If it's in the correct position, it won't slide. This step involves a very careful adjustment of the pad pressure. You want the pads to just barely touch the strings, but not press them down at all. You will need a steady hand and a fair amount of patience to get it right. The first time you do it will be the hardest. I promise it'll get much easier as you get more practice. Start with the pad over the high E string. While picking the string, very slowly push the pad straight down. When the pad first touches the string, you'll hear its pitch shift up to the harmonic. As soon as you hear the harmonic, stop pushing down. If the harmonic sounds like it's breaking up or is mixed with the lower open string pitch, you may have to push the pad down just a little bit more. That sounds okay. If the harmonic sounds very dull or muted, then you've either got the capo positioned over the wrong fret wire or you've pushed the pad down too far. If that happens, try lifting the pad back up and starting over. Once you have achieved a pressure that gives a clear harmonic and you can't hear the lower pitch trying to break through, you know you have enough pad pressure. Now you have to check that you don't have too much pad pressure. You do that by playing normal notes on the string below the capo. If the pad pressure isn't too high and your guitar's nut action isn't too low, you should be able to get down to the 2nd fret before you start to hear the notes being muted by the pad. Why do you get muting? Well, the only reason that you can play below the harmonic capo at all is that when you press a string down, it breaks contact with the capo's pad. Obviously, when you press a string down at the 11th fret, the string gets pushed far away from the pad. But when you press the same string down at the 2nd fret, or at the 1st fret, it doesn't move very much up here at the pad. If the nut action is very low, the string may not move enough to break free from the pad. The result is that the pad is still touching the string, and it mutes the note. So if you get muting, it'll be worst at the lowest frets, and the only way to fix it is to reduce the pad pressure by pulling back up on the pad slightly. As As you can see, the optimal pad pressure will be the lightest possible pressure that produces a stable harmonic on the open string. Any more pressure than that may create muting problems at the lower frets. Once you have found the optimal pad pressure, any muting that still exists at the lowest frets is something that cannot be corrected without raising your guitar's action at the nut. I don't recommend any permanent modifications to your guitar, but if you want to cheat, you can artificially raise the nut action by putting a thick piece of paper under the strings that need it. Most guitars with normal action will exhibit some muting at the first fret even when the pad pressure is perfect, so some muting is normal. Guitars that have been adjusted for extremely low action may have severe muting problems, so if your guitar is like that, the Harmonic Capo is not going to work well on it. Now all that remains to do is to repeat the adjustments on the other strings. It takes far less time to do it than to talk about it, so let me show you how long it usually takes me to adjust the pad pressure from scratch. Now, if you're reasonably careful not to bump the pads, you won't have to do much adjustment the next time you put the capo on your guitar. Let me demonstrate. Take the capo off, put it back in its box, close the box, shake it, simulate a trip to Roadie World, and put it back on, see how far off we are. Now if I know the adjustments are fairly close, I'll just go straight to the harmonics. I left the E string off, so I didn't even set that pad. And then I go to the second fret. If they're both okay, nothing more needs to be done. That's it for normal adjustments. I hope this video has taken some of the mystery out of adjusting your Harmonic Capo. If you have any questions, please contact us at support@weaseltrap.com. Thanks for watching, and thanks for buying the Harmonic Capo.